Hi folks, it's Jeff living here, and tonight I want to talk to you about items that you should have should shit hit the fan. Now, in this day and age, especially for my friends over in America and around the world, um, this is not as silly as it sounds because, yeah, there's COVID-19, there's just all kinds of unrest happening at the moment. And it just makes sense to have certain items ready for if everything goes a bit south. Now, for those of you that have been subscribers to my channel for a while, you already do this. You already know this. You preppers. But I'm talking tonight about just what the average person should have, or the average household. And yeah, this is not going to be based on any brand names because that's not what this is about. What this is about is making sure that you have certain items that you may need if worse comes to worse. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is food. Now, obviously, food is going to be a very necessary thing. Um, if you have to leave your house for any reason, or if your supermarkets have run out of fresh food, you really need to have things like canned food, that's really good, freeze-dried food, and anything that's going to have a long shelf life. Because if you start stocking up on things like this now, it's going to make it a lot easier when it comes down to the crunch. So yeah, food is very important. Obviously, the other important thing is water. Now, if you live in a building such as mine, you know that you don't have a big water tank or anything like that, but you can have small containers of water pre-filled for any such emergency, such as an earthquake or anything really. And it's really important that you have some containers of water. Now, if you have to move quickly for any reason, the whole water thing is going to depend on water filtration. Now, here we have the Solar Mini, and this is a water filtration system, and it's not overly expensive. And you can take a unit like this and clean water for you and your family relatively quickly and easily. So it's pretty important that you have something like this. Again, we're talking just for your average family, your average person. If you're not a prepper, you really need to have these things anyway. You really do. Okay, so that's water. Okay, fire making and tinder. Now, it's very important, I think, that you have a couple of ways to make fire. Should you have to leave your house, or should the power go out in your house? You really got to have a couple of ways to make fire. So here is a match cap, just a very basic kind of thing. And there is a cotton ball, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So in here, we've got some stormproof matches and just some regular matches, and there's a little pair right on the bottom there. And there is also a match striker, which I also keep in there. Pardon me. Now, it's just a couple of different ways to make fire besides just this. So another good thing to carry would be a lighter. Now, you could also and should probably also carry such things as a uh, a ferrocerium rod or something like that. But for the average person that is not somebody that carries a lot of these things in their everyday carry, have something like this sort of put away. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as well. Okay, so knives. That is another thing that I really, really can't stress highly enough. It's important to have a knife or two. Um, Now, a fixed blade such as this motor cannon ball here is absolutely perfect. Something like this will help you to gather firewood. It will help you to do food preparation and basic defense as well. If you need to defend yourself and your family for any particular reason, hopefully it never comes to that. Now, I always suggest more than one knife because it's just, I think it's very important to have something else like a pocket knife with you as well. So I would suggest something such as any of the Victorinox knives would be great as a secondary knife and also works as a multi-tool to a certain extent. Here's another one which is a bit more pocket friendly. So a secondary knife that you can carry with you quite easily. Here's another example, which is the Spyderco paramilitary tube. So yeah, knives are important. Also, I think what is very important would be a multi-tool. Now, a multi-tool, yeah, you might say that something like these Victorinox knives are a multi-tool, and they are, and they work to a certain extent. But um, my advice is probably get something plier based as your multi-tool. So here's the surge here. And again, we're not really talking about brands. We're just talking about particular items. So something that has a plier, as well as other tools that you can use and access to perhaps fix your car or help set up camp, things along those lines. That's pretty important. I suggest a medium size, but you can also go for something small like this here. And again, there are several different brands that make these small sort of plier-based multi-tools. This one in particular is a Leatherman. Shark makes them. Everybody makes them, so I strongly suggest that. Now, we also want to have something to put all these things in, should you need to move quickly. And so, a backpack of some description would be great. Now, this is my everyday carry backpack, which is a camelback. And this one, I'm not going to go through all the options on it, but I will say that it does have a 3 liter water hydration system in it. so I can carry up to 3 liters of water in the backpack itself. And plus, all of the items that I just mentioned can be carried in here. And having something like this loaded up and ready to go is great. Now, this is my EDC one. You can actually get one that you could put away in a closet or something like that, holding all this gear for when necessary. And here is a Max Edition Falcon 2. Now, this is the one that I keep all loaded up all of the time and ready to go. And you probably could carry this as an EDC, but not necessarily. Um, it's a big booger and it's full of stuff. But there you go. You really want to have something to keep all your gear in for if shit hits the fan. Okay, so shelter. That's another thing. If you have to leave your home for any particular reason, you want to have some really basic shelter. Um, if you can do a tent, that would be great. But even something as basic as just a tarp and some paracord. So paracord is another thing that's very important. I would say probably at least 20 feet at the very minimum, and keep that in your pack. And so that's always there, it's always ready to go. Along with your tarp, if you have a vehicle, obviously you're going to want things like sleeping bags as well. And lighting. This is another thing that we need to talk about. Um, the day is 24 hours long, and half of the day is basically in the dark. So something as simple as this, all the way on up to this, and even more lighting, even bigger lighting, if you can afford it, and just have it put to one side, uh, in your camping gear or something like that. Lighting is very important. Okay, and finally, well, almost finally, first aid. So, this is my fact, and you can get very, very intricate and well-rounded first aid kits for you and the entire family. Or you can get some really basic ones, which just cover the basics, and just making sure that you're covered for pretty much everything. I suggest a tourniquet, bandages, and little things like band-aids and gauze and things of that nature. It's very important that you have first aid ready to go at all times. And then, of course, we have Tabasco sauce, because Tabasco sauce fixes everything. Well, almost everything. And this is great. And I'm not sponsored by Tabasco. But yeah, fried chicken, steaks, burgers, Bloody Marys. Can't be Tabasco sauce. Whoops. Alright, folks. So there is just a few of the basic things that I think everybody should have, if you're a prepper or not. These are the things that in these days and times, you really, really want to have. And they're just going to make your life a lot easier if shit hits the fan happens. And my God, it just might. Okay, folks, this is Jeff Slavenstein. Stay prepared, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye now.